we have parents who have kids and like, well, what, my student, if she finishes calculus in eighth or ninth or 10th grade, then what is she going to do? I'm like, oh,
Yeah, people don't always see the possibilities. They think the end of the road is calculus when really that's just table stakes. That's you just arrived at the big race. Calculus is that was your entry ticket.
yeah. Because and if you could make some context, if you could put some like, okay, like, because if you're not a math person, you might think, well, I don't know. I never took calculus. Only the smart kids took calculus, or I took calculus. You just wouldn't really know. And if your kid is like, well, I want to go to MIT or Stanford and I'm going to be this thing, and they'd be like, oh, well, that sounds great. Just keep getting A's. It's okay. Well, getting A's and taking the AP honors and AP classes and that kind of stuff is necessary, but is not sufficient, as we like to say in math. The conditions are necessary but insufficient. So there are stories, some kids, it's like, oh, I didn't even take calculus and I went to Harvard or MIT and I majored and I had to, but yeah, you had to fight really hard to catch up. It was a bear.
Yeah,
It was
there
not,
are always exceptions that prove the rule, right?
yeah, I mean, there are exceptions, but the majority of those students took calculus they didn't take it their senior year. They might have probably didn't even take it their junior year. They might have taken it even before that. And they were taking classes at the local state university. They were doing summer math camps. They were on the math team. They were doing all kind of extra stuff. So you show up and say, well, I got A's all through math and I was an AP and I got a 5. You'd be like, oh, that's cute. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like you never
good for
realize how outgunned you are. It's like you
yeah.
didn't realize, and that happened to me in college. I didn't quite realize how much more math these other people had. And you just thought, oh man, I guess I'm not as smart as they are. Like, okay, like they got a cheat code, right? They got a cheat code. So, and if you want to be you want it to be a fair fight, right? Like, because these people are also super smart and really working hard. So it's not like, oh, they're ahead, but they're just lazy. And no, 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 they're all business. They're good and they're naturally very good. So you gotta shorten the gap so that you can get through these classes and not get completely torched and feel like I have to drop the major and do something that might be a little easier or whatever. So, but if you could to use this instance, this context to say, okay, well, we're talking to some parent whose kids are in middle school or high school, and you lay out and you say, okay, if your student wants to go to an elite school or at least a selective school, and they want to major in some STEM field, and okay, well, here's where you want to be. Like this is good, great, amazing. Like this is, or something like, here are the 4 results, or here adequate. Okay, this is bare minimum. Bare minimum. Let's say bare minimum is you do really well in AP calculus in high school, A, B, C. Okay, I probably would do more, but you can get by. Okay, how about we do a year of introduction to proofs? So they really have strong proofs. Maybe do linear algebra and multivariable calculus. Really good. We do another, actually, we do that, but we also do differential equations and we do like real analysis or abstract algebra. Now you're like, come in and you're like, okay, it's like, this stuff is like, a lot of it is review for you. It's easy. Everybody, you feel like a genius. I think we've talked a little about this in the previous show, but but really being able, I'm not, I mean, I'm less trying to explain why you need to do this, but laying out like, here's the path, here's where you would want to be, and if you keep going at this rate, here's where you can be. So just keep doing it. Don't, because otherwise it's just sort of like, well, what am I doing, or have I done enough math? And it's like, well, I don't know, what do you want to do? I mean, if you want to major in art history, then I mean, you're probably done. Like, don't worry about it, you're good. Take algebra 2 or whatever, and I don't think anyone really cares. I'm going to go to film school. Okay, nobody cares unless you
Yeah,
unless you just like it.
yeah. It's like there's the opportunity to not only bring people through the pipeline, but also to advise them what is the pipeline. Because there's so many people who don't. I mean, typically parents don't know. Most students don't know either. Even if they are have their sights set on like some big time goal that they need to be super prepared for, they often don't really know what constitutes good preparation for it. It's like sometimes I get like it's almost like you get invited to some like Olympic judo training or something, and the summer before, like everyone just tells you like, oh, just be able to do like a few pull-ups, like 20 push-ups, and run a mile in 7 minutes, and you're good. And like you don't understand what you're about to show up to. You come in, so what you do is you're like, okay, the bar, where's the bar at? It's at like three push-ups, or three pull-ups, 20 push-ups, and 7 minute mile. Okay, I'm going to do 5 pull-ups and 30 push-ups and run a 650 mile, and 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 you don't understand that the people that you're gonna be up against are just order of magnitude stronger than that, and they're going to be throwing you across the room like every single time.
Yeah.
And so just like making this known to everyone, like what is the truth, what is the truth of the matter? Like not everybody has the same pipeline, the same goals. What is your goal? Let's help you get there.
I remember this this so my oldest, who's now a senior in college, when he was in little league baseball, he's like 9 or 10, and this dad, you sit in the bleachers and you get to know some of their parents, and the dad, I think he was like a in-house counsel or some pretty senior counsel at Disney, and he was talking about, he knew about the math thing, for we someone mentioned, because they were doing a little math academy stuff, so that conversation came up. He's like, yeah, he's like, I remember his name was Carlos, and he's like, yeah, I was really good at math, and I was taking my senior year, I was taking, what he was taking, like linear multivariable calculus, something at USC or something. I think he said USC. And he's like, but I was applying to Stanford, and the math teacher was like, he's like, Carlos thinks he's good at math. He's like, when he gets to Stanford, he's going to find out. And he's like, I didn't know what he's talking about. He's like, oh my God, did I find out? Right. And
Yeah.
we were laughing, like, I was, holy crap, Um, and not like USC is a really, really good school. And I think it was USC. But it was like, it was already like, he's doing something that's pretty, pretty damn impressive. But okay, you're going to do that. You're going to do like, you're going to be a math major at Stanford. It's like, I'm going to be a basketball player at Duke. It's like, okay, well, like, okay, there is good and there's good and there's really, I mean, it's like, okay, I want to play college and
Yeah.
basketball. Okay, I want to play Division I college basketball. I'm playing at North Dakota State or West Virginia, these places that are like ranked in the top 100 or 200 schools. Okay, now you're talking about Duke. I say a lot of these guys are going to go play pro or whatever. I mean, it is ridiculous. And you just have no idea. And so if you're like talking about, I'm going to go, if you have a coach who's like, listen, hey, kid, I know you're all state, really good. I don't know if Duke's gonna be the right option for you. I think you could do D1, you could get a scholarship. I think you said, but just telling you. I mean, if you want to do it, just understand this is the level, and you're going to have to do all these things. I mean, actually, I had that conversation happen to me in high school. I wanted in basketball. I wanted to play college basketball, and I didn't pick up hype. I was a latecomer. I didn't start basketball till I was in freshman in high school, so super late. But I was an athletic kid, and so I was ambitious, and I got good quickly, and I made the varsity my junior year, which is pretty cool. And the assistant coach said to me, he's like, he heard my senior year that I was, really going to try and play college ball. And he's like, Jason, he's like, look, you're fast, you get good, you had a lot of good guard skills and dribbling. He's like, but you need a really, really good 3-point shot, and as a guard at your height. 5'10", half 5'11". He's like 5'11" point guards. You got to be dangerous from 3-point, because otherwise they're just gonna pack the lane, and you're going to be rendered sort of useless. And so I was like, yeah, okay. So he told me. I mean, he brought me as he took it upon himself. Said, Jason, I think you have what it takes, but you got to do this thing. And I said, right. And you know what I did? Not that. I did not go and work on my jump shot. I would, every time I'd go to the gym or the court, I'd always end up playing pickup games for 3 hours, and I would never work on my jump shot. And I was the last guy cut from the basketball team at the end of preseason. You know what the head coach said to me? He said, Jason, good athlete, you know, like really good ball handling, passing, but you just don't have a good enough 3-point shot. I was warned. I was warned. I was told, and I didn't do what I was supposed to do because I was a dumb kid and I just wanted to have fun. I didn't have enough self discipline to go work on the thing that somebody who knew what they were talking about, to, you know, and so I suffered the result. I got cut from the basketball, which was my goal. I was really kind of heartbroken. I was like, God, that was, you know, so, so it's important when you're in a position where you know how things work to tell younger people, this is the situation. Okay. This is the level of talent, the level of skill you're going to have if this is the thing you want to do. Right now, if you don't want to do it, that's fine. There's a place for everyone. Everyone has a place. Like, not everybody has to be a math genius, right? Not everybody has to learn abstract algebra, right? But if you want to do the things that you say you want to do, or from this list, then okay, let us lay out a plan to help you be on schedule to get that. So you don't find yourself in a situation where you're getting blown out of the water your first or semester in college, or like in my situation, coaches say, Jason, you just don't have the 3-point shot. You know what I mean? So that's why I think it's also like, it'd be really helpful to us, because sometimes there's a lot of adults just don't know, right? Because if you were not like my parents weren't, my dad was a golfer. He wasn't a basketball player. I think he saw like one of my basketball games my entire high school career. And he couldn't say, Jason, you need to work in the shop. He never said anything. He's like, why aren't you playing golf? That's basically his, you know, he's like, I think you're in the wrong sport. So he's his
Yeah.
advice to me, but I didn't have anyone to tell me until the last minute. I mean, I was told, I ignored it, but it would be much more helpful if I had an adult telling me when I was, 13, 14, not, 18, and saying,
Yeah.
you need to be working on this now.
Yeah, totally. And most students are in the same situation where they're like, the parents have not gone super deep in whatever domain they're interested in, and the parents just don't know where's the bar for what levels of skill and talent do you need to train up in order to like keep pursuing this thing that you want to do. And I'm just thinking about my own parents. I mean, great. I had a good childhood. They
Yeah, your mom
loved
was an
me
art
very
major. She was
much.
like an art major,
Yeah,
right?
she
She
was an
was
art major. Yeah, art major. My dad was a business marketing major, and yeah, so I was
where's
super
this
into
math
math.
genius coming from, right?
And so I don't have nobody else in my family. It's like I don't have this uncle who's like a mathematician. I don't even have anyone who like codes or anything. Like there's nobody technical, nobody scientific. There's no researchers or like nope, none of that. So
And
I had
here's
no
the
idea
thing.
where the bar was.
And it's
Yeah.
not that your parents take care of me. Your dad is great, and your mom is
Yeah.
lovely. She is a loveliest woman I've ever met. Just so I could see just being amazing mom, but she's just totally clueless about your math. Like she's just they don't know what to tell
Yeah.
you, right?
Yeah, that was the thing. And it's like and they kind of knew this too. Where it's like they like
They knew they didn't know.
they were trying to do all that they could like to help me just launch into my college and adulthood well, just like any good parent does, right?
Mhm.
But they just yeah, they weren't really sure what that meant. And so what they ended up doing is just looking at like what's the typical advice that you get from your high school guidance counselor at just a standard high school in South Bend, Indiana. The advice is just like, oh, this just take a few AP classes
Right.
and get like
Yeah,
a
yeah. Take an AP
700 or
class.
more
That'll be
on
good.
the SAT. And so like for instance, like so my parents got like really like they kind of just figured that like, hey, if you get a good SAT score, like you're good, right? Like you took a few APs and I don't know, they so okay, I guess maybe they didn't fully know what they didn't know, but they like they knew that they should reach out to like or that they should try and like read a bit on online, or reach out to like a guidance counselor, they didn't know that so many other people also don't know what they don't know. So it's kind of like the blind leading the blind.
Nobody knows.
And yeah, yeah.
And a
Well,
kid
like,
doesn't know. And this is like
yeah,
really before the internet. It was probably a little. I mean, you had access to some because you worked your way through the MIT Open Courseware on your own completely.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, luckily, I mean, this wasn't because I thought that it was necessary for college. It was just because
You're
I
just interested in it.
I was just interested. It was just yeah, interested in math, and I was like, well, like, it just felt like the best use of my time. It kind of felt like I just kind of in high school, it was just kind of like a loop of like just having like extra time that wasn't being put towards the best
Mhm.
possible use. So I was just kind of like, what's the best use of my time? What am I really enjoying? What's going to help with the long game? Like I guess okay, I knew that this all, like all this math stuff is going to be part of the long game, right? Like you got
Mhm.
to learn it eventually. If you want to be like a serious like scientist or technologist or whatever, like it is, if it's like a hardcore technical profession like that, you're gonna have to learn serious math and
Right.
coding. So you might as well learn it now. I didn't realize just just how helpful it is in the short game too.
Yeah.
I totally lucked out on that, but it is. It really is.
Yeah. So yeah, because I think some kids get lucky; they just find their way there, and some get pointed in the right direction by either a parent or a knowing adult who wants to help them out and said, "Hey, kid, come here. This is what you need to be doing." A lot of kids don't really have that, and so they don't do it, or they don't do it enough, or they don't quite get it. Um, more recently, so my youngest, who's a senior in high school, she's trying to get a Division I scholarship in gymnastics. That's her goal. And she was another like me. She was a latecomer, so she's kind of just really fighting to get the attention and get the thing. And so we hired a consultant who was a former Division I coach, and this is what she does. And she helps them understand the recruiting process and how to approach that and how to get in front of the right um, programs and all these things. And you know, so Sandy and I have spent a lot of time trying to understand this college gymnastics game because we're not gymnasts. We don't know how this works. And so, and it's kind of a world of its own. And she's like, well, should I hire this person? I mean, it's kind of expensive. I said, I just want to know to answer these questions. Like how many official visits do they get? Like how many, when they give you an offer, I mean, is it like, do you have like 48 hours? Is it like exploding hours, like Mission Impossible, answer now, or this thing's going to detonate in 10 seconds? Or do you have like a month? I mean, how's this work? How does a transfer portal work? I don't know. We don't know these things. How many of these girls who are being recruited when they give an official visit, like how many girls are given an official visit and how many spots? So let's say they have a roster of 20, they get 5 for freshmen, 5 spots, they get official visits to 7 to 10 to 20. And what does that mean? I mean, does the official visit mean that's almost as good as an offer, or is that not even close? And how many offers do they get? I don't know. I mean, so we don't know answer any of these things, and so it's like I want to know how the inner game of what's going on. And so they feel like there's this dark matter that we can detect, but we can't indirectly, but we can't measure it directly. Like how many spots, who's being recruited, what's this game. I'm missing my camera, messing with my keep hitting my microphone. Anyway, the just trying to understand the game because if we screw this up, it can have really detrimental effects, right? So you need to understand, if you're trying to look, if there's a lot of things you can do in life, they're just not super competitive. It's not that hard, and just kind of go in and just do your thing and it'll be fine. But there are other things that are just super, super hard. And there's a lot of competition, you know, being a Division I gymnast, going to major in STEM at a place like MIT or Stanford or was, I mean, these are crazy hard. and the competition is off the charts. So you better know what the game is. Now, if you don't care, then fine. But if you care, then you want to know, right? Like, I don't want to tell anyone
Yeah.
you care about something you don't care about, and so when it comes to math, I would always say is like we're trying to increase optionality for kids. It's like, look, when they're 12, 13, 14, even 15, 16, they don't really know who they are, what they want to do, but you want to keep those options open. As an adult, as a parent, or even as a teacher, you're trying to help kids keep as many doors open as possible. So when they get a better idea of who they are and what they want to do, that they can get through the door. Because if the doors start closing because you're making choices that are causing doors to close, and then later you go, "Oh, I didn't know. Well, I didn't know that I had to know multiple years of math to be a computer science or something major or something or whatever." It's like, "Oh, I didn't know I had need to have a 3-point shot." It's like, well, I mean, maybe you should have guessed. I mean, you're a guard, right? I mean, whatever. But
There's levels to it. There's
well,
stuff that's clear, and then there's stuff that's sort of like you might know, maybe if you have a parent who has some sense of it, and then there's stuff that's just the last third that's just like you just have no idea unless you have really gotten inside the trade over and over. And if you are coming into this for the first time, you have not gotten inside the trade. You need somebody who has seen this play out over and over.
yeah, and like it's funny, like the whole basketball thing. It's like because as a kid, you could easily rationalize not doing things, right?
Oh yeah.
It's so easy. Someone tells you something, oh yeah, okay, I'll do the thing. Like no, it's because typically this thing that you're supposed to do, it's not one thing, it's a whole bunch of things, and it's going to take a lot of work and a lot of time. You know, you don't just go work for a few weekends and you figured it out, or something, or take one class and you're good. So, um, anyway, I think having this information, helping students set longer term goals, mapping that out, like you say, like because ideally, what you would want is say, here we have a 4 or 5 year game plan,
Hmm.
right? And now they may decide at a certain point, like, you know what, I'm done. I think I've done enough math. I'm actually going to decide I'm going to go in a different direction. You're good. Okay, that we did our job. Parents, their job. We got you as prepared for some possibilities, things that you might want to do. And I think that's really what high school is supposed to be about. It's supposed to be preparing students so they go in any number of directions when they go into high school. They go into college
Yeah.
because at least in America, we're not really expecting a 14 or 15 or going to high school to know they're going to be a doctor or something. So,
And even if you end up choosing some direction that doesn't require a bunch of math, at least you can know you didn't choose that direction out of because it was you couldn't do something else. You made a conscious choice. I have all these options, and this is the one that I want to choose. Not this is the only one that's left over for me.
yeah, it was the only door I tried. Those doors locked. There was only 9 of the doors were locked and one was open, so I did that.
Yeah, I guess this is the one I'm going
I
through.
guess like yeah, there was a lock. Yeah, so yeah, so that's kind of what Sandy and I would talk to parents about the Math Academy program, and that was in the school district, and it's like you're having students have to. It started in the 6th grade, and so students in the school district would have to select to go to one of the 3 middle schools out of the 7, and the parents are like, well, why do they want to do this? And so we try and explain this and as succinctly and as clearly as possible to keep options open. Now, if you know your kid is not a math kid, it doesn't mean they have to love math itself, but they like things in the vicinity of math. You know, they like science, they like computers, they like something like that. Then okay, they're kind of in that vicinity. In which case, being good at math is probably going to be a really helpful thing. If your kid's like, well, my kid hates math, isn't good at it, and likes languages, like, okay, well, don't waste your time. Go do that. I mean, you should probably learn some math just to be an intelligent, educated adult. And who knows? Sometimes people do change their mind. So don't know some math. Like, don't just
Hmm.
learn no math and be like, oh,
Yeah,
I struggle with fractions. Okay, well, that's not great. You
yeah,
don't know the
yeah, yeah.
different equations, but you should at least know basic algebra, for crying out loud, basic statistics, just to be a functional adult. But anyway, so I think you're right. I think that's right. The having there's a lot of payoffs, and I think it really improved the experience of just the student experience and even parent experience of seeing the progress along this longer path, this plan, this goal
Yeah,
setting. But I think it also will prove really helpful for students just sort of planning their allocating time along their to get to where they might want to go. For for like I said, the decisions. If you don't make the decisions get made for you, right?
that's right.
That's just how
Exactly.
it is, And I thought of my middle kid, she's the writer filmmaker, and I said, and I kept telling her, I was like, either you go into the world and you make decisions to make things happen, or decisions will be made and they will happen to you, more or less. So you decide. It turns out if you make things happen, you make intentional decisions, make things happen, you tend to get something that's much closer to what you really want. And some decisions just get made for you. It's like, well, you don't have a job, you don't have education, so this is what you're doing. This is what's happening to you. So anyway,